system, getting online with Facebook and YouTube. And so I didn't do a song yesterday. I didn't do a song today. I'm not going to. So I don't know if I need to stop doing the songs. I live by what I teach, and that is there's not one single hair out of place in the universe. So I have to kind of reflect on that and say, okay, what is it that I need to change? What is it that God's kind of steering me in a different direction? Does that mean not teaching any more meditation, just not doing the music? I really don't know at this point. I'm just kind of giving it over to God and surrendering. So we'll see where it all goes. But I apologize for any of you who end up who follow me and just end up wondering what is going on. So again, I see somebody join me from Facebook. So just to reiterate, that I had some problems with my computer the last couple days. Not just yesterday was the program, today was the computer. So I'm just kind of reflecting within what needs to change. So in any case, thank you for joining me this morning. We're not going to do a song again because of running behind, and I think maybe I might pass on the songs because I've ran out of time and not been able to do them last 2 days. We're just going to meditate. So I think we'll stick with that, and we'll take from there. Okay, so let's meditate and just unwind, unravel all if there is any stress. I can feel a little bit within myself, just trying to get things the way my mind wants them to go. So this too shall pass, and this too is a great lesson. So all is well. So okay, let's meditate. And I feel like right now, I just feel like I want to do a prayer. Beloved Creator, we don't know why sometimes you bring things the way you do, but we trust that everything is exactly the way it needs to be. And I don't want to fight this at all. Whatever transition because of my program problem yesterday and my computer problems today, getting me on late, I don't know what it's about, but I feel that there's something there for me, so I'll reflect on that. But we pray right now that you just be with us, help us to open our hearts, open our minds, just open us up to the infinite possibilities that are here right now in this very moment and in every present moment. So we give this meditation over to you, and we surrender everything to you. We surrender our stress, our blame, our judgment, our guilt, our shame, all of the past, all of the future, and so that we can just be here with you and be our true selves right now in this very moment. And we open our hearts, we open our minds to just receive all the love, the blessings, and all the support that you have, the grace as well that you have to pour upon us right now in this very moment. And for that, we are truly, truly grateful. Thank you, beloved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. So just taking in a nice deep breath. And if you haven't already done so, just letting go of everything in the past. And letting go of all the worries about the future. Life will handle the future. We don't need to get involved with it. I posted a quote this morning, something by Eckhart Tolle. It is not us living life, it is life living us. Something to that degree. And we are the observers of that life. If we can just get our ego, our personality out of the way, get all those stories out of the way that block us from just being present and living and loving life, being grateful for everything that presents itself. And I'm not sure which direction this meditation is going to go. It may shift streams. I just want to be open for whatever needs to take place. And right now I'm feeling drawn to just come back to the present moment. Just come back to being consciously aware of your breath. Just noticing the breath. You are a witness of the breath, just like you are a witness of the thoughts, the feelings, the desires, and a witness of life itself. The mind wants to fight life. It wants to fight life because the mind thinks it knows what we need to be happy. And if we believe in what the mind is telling us, as if it's the truth, we will be sucked into that drama and the suffering and stress of life, essentially. And the mind thinks it's so smart. And sometimes we think we are so smart because we're believing the mind, which is our egoic self, our ego self. The one who thinks it knows best of what we need. But as long as we think we know what we need, as long as we think we know what will bring us happiness, as long as we think we know who we are, then all of those beliefs and stories will get in the way of who we are that is beyond the thinking. You know, some of this is quite easy in some ways, and I don't mean to trivialize any of this, because we've all had our challenges and struggles with life and feel like, oh my God, what is going on here? You know, da 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 da. But in some ways, it's really just deciding that we don't want to listen to the mind anymore. And I've done this a lot, but I just want to, I just want to kind of rehash, just take a look back at the mind and what the mind is, what the mind offers in our life. And again, we know that the mind is trying to figure out how we can be happy. But if we look at that, you know, we've said that happiness is already here. We're already an awakened being. But because of all these old beliefs, memories, and just all these things that we have latched onto as if it's the truth, those things that we have latched onto are the very things that keep us from experiencing peace, joy, love, and the truth of who we are right now in this moment. But we know that the mind, the physical mind, does not survive. Once life, as we know it in this form, in this body, once this transition ends, we are on to another experience of life that is beyond any physical form. Because we know the physical form dies. People who have had out-of-body experiences can tell you that, you know, they've been gifted. They've been gifted to realize that they are not their bodies, because they step outside of their bodies and they just observe it. Same thing will happen when you leave this body. When you die, you will be able to observe the body, and you will still be able to be conscious awareness, being consciously aware of life, just simply in a different, I don't want to say a different form, a different experience that is without form, which is who you are. So I say it's fairly simple because we know we are not our minds, because our minds come to an end. But science tells us energy cannot die. And we are energy. We are a vibration. That's scientifically proven and measured. But the physical forms do die, as well as the thoughts, the feelings, the experiences. All these things change or fade away. So they cannot be who we are. And if energy never dies and we continue on as the formless life, the formless truth, we must also be able to function intelligently and recall memory from, not from the mind, but from a deeper source. Is that true? If we continue on, if we are eternal, then we must have some kind of intelligence, some kind of conscious awareness to recognize who we are. So you see, if we are listening to the mind, listening to the thoughts, listening to the feelings, we realize we are none of those things. We cannot be those things because they all fade away, they diminish, they pass. What is it that never passes, never diminishes, never changes? And that is you. And that is me, and that is everyone. No matter how our mind would judge them bad or even evil, they too are this conscious awareness that they simply can't recognize, like we can't sometimes as well. Life truly doesn't have to be hard. I mean that sincerely. And lately I've been having these experiences where this truth that I connect with and align with in my meditations is permeating my world more and more, where I'm recognizing that I am life. I am one with our beloved Creator. I might not be the ocean of God, but I am a drop of water out of that ocean. Pure of heart, pure of mind. You are the same thing. This is not just for a chosen few. Jesus, and I've heard other teachers say the same thing, but you can do all things I have done and even greater things. I mean, that is worth hearing. If Jesus tells us this, and he's walked on water, raised the dead, healed the blind, and changed water into wine, and it always kind of pops up in my head when I say that, which is a wonderful party trick, changing water into the wine. If he can do that, and you can do all things he has done and even greater things, what is possible? And quite honestly, perhaps the better question to say is, what isn't possible? When I had my awakening in 2015, for the first time in my life, I came from just pure conscious awareness, where I was just observing everything. I was observing my mind, and what I was also observing was all these stories and beliefs of who I thought I was. And it truly was an oh my God moment. I thought I knew who I was. A healer was working on me maybe I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And she says, you think you know who you are, but you only know 2% of who you are. And I was hurt, disappointed. What? Been doing all these workshops, reading all these books, and you're telling me I only know 2% of who I am? But even that 2% was enough to spark an interest to say there must be something more. And what is that more? And why did I only recognize 2% of who I was? There was many things that I studied along the way. One of the teachers was Sadhguru, who has, I'm sure, millions of followers in this world, particularly from India, but lives in the United States, supporting us during this crisis right now. So-called crisis, I'll say. And one of the things that he does in his retreats, his workshops, is to break down all the things that you have bought into as to who you are. That you are the mind, you are your thoughts, you are your body, you are your feelings, you are your experiences. And I invite you, as you know all the time, to let go of all of that. Because the only way you can fill your cup up with possibilities is to empty it out first. Empty it out of every single thing you think you know. The mind, the ego will say, no. These are if I empty out everything I think I know, then there's not going to be nothing left of me. I'll be a blob. I won't be able to think or know who I am. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But is that the truth? Because again, since you are not your mind, you are not your thought, you are not your beliefs, what is it that we can do to go beyond all the things that we think we know, and particularly all the things that we think we know who we are? But I'm just inviting you to empty out all the knowledge. People read so many books, they're listening to different teachers and ministers and priests and rabbis and speakers and meditation teachers and all kinds of people that they have judged and deemed as perhaps wise or knowledgeable to help them along their path, to help them to find peace, joy, and love. But there will never be one piece of knowledge that awakens you to the truth of who you are. Because this is not about gaining more knowledge. It's about letting go of what you think you are, who you think you are. Because, and it's okay with knowledge. There can be good knowledge and there can be bad knowledge. We've seen plenty of criminals and masterminds in the world who have done evil things because they are knowledgeable about certain things. So we have to acknowledge that all knowledge is not good. I'm not trying to add to your beliefs. I'm not trying to persuade you or convince you of anything. I am simply offering a way out, which means letting go of everything you think you know and everything of who you think you are. Because that is all of the mind, and we've established you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts, you are not your beliefs. Those will all change and or fade away. So I have to ask the question, what is it right now in this moment that blocks you from recognizing the truth of who you are right now? Are you waiting for something else to present itself in order to be awakened? In order to recognize that you are already awakened. So I invite you to let go of all the waiting for something to happen. Please, no more waiting. No more waiting for something outside yourself to recognize what is within yourself. Not only within yourself, that is yourself right now in this moment. And again, every moment. And do you think you need to earn your way back to the truth of who you are, the truth of who you will have always been, and to the truth of who you will always be? No, there's nothing to earn. Your true self, who you are, has always been you. You can't get rid of your true self. It's you. Conscious awareness. And it's always been there. It will always be there. It's just that we need to empty out those things that veil us from that truth. That's all. So I invite you to let go of this story, this belief that you have to do something spectacular or do something at all to earn your way back to the truth of who you are. And you can just notice my puppy in the background. She likes to express herself. And you may have a good thought or a bad thought about that. Either way, it's just a thought. It's just a sound. It only becomes a meaningful sound if we assign meaning to it, that this is good, this is bad. But it's time for us to move beyond the duality of the mind, is it not? That's the only reason that good and bad exist in this world, is all because the mind has judged that certain things are good and certain things are bad. But again, why do we want to listen to something that does not have anything to do with who we are? I'm inviting you to transcend that. Transcend the craziness, all the worries. Every single worry you have is of the mind. The mind has made judgments along the way, and we have believed those judgments, and therefore we have stored the fear. We have stored the fear within us. Not actually within us, within the body, within the mind. But we have believed it to be true. The small self, the egoic self, has believed it to be true. Our true self has never fallen prey to any of it. It is always steadily rooted in love, peace, and joy, and truth. But to our personality, our ego, our small self, it has bought into a lot of stories along the way, and we have falsely identified with ourselves as if this is the truth. All false identity comes from the mind chatter and us believing the mind chatter to be true. So I ask you again, what is it that keeps you from recognizing the very core truth of who you are right now in this moment. I invite you to let go of the story that you are your body, which will fade away and you will not. To let go of the story that you are your mind and all the beliefs and thoughts that come along with it. Those all will fade away, and the physical mind will die as well. And I do invite you to let go of all the memories and all the past, all the shame, the guilt, the blame that you have carried and have bought, your small self has bought into, that you are unworthy. No, that is not true. It doesn't matter what you have ever done, what you will ever do. God's love is unconditional. Your love, the truth of who you are, your love is unconditional, meaning there's nothing that you can ever do or have ever done that will keep you from still being love, still being the truth of who you already are and have always been. I love you, but that is not enough. You must recognize that you are love itself. And you will never be satisfied until that time comes. And that is good, because it is the dissatisfaction with life that is a catalyst for us to dig deeper. But in this moment, we're not doing digging, because digging deeper in a way means that we have to do something else to recognize who we are. But there's nothing else to do. And it's okay if you want to dig deeper after this meditation, but I'm sharing with you that there's nothing to dig for. There's nothing to wait for. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to earn. There's not even anything to forgive in a way. But sometimes forgiveness is necessary because we're being hard on ourselves and saying we're not worthy because of things that we've done, mistakes that we've fallen short. No. I've mentioned this story about the prodigal son, which is the actual, I think the title of the parable is the lost boy, the lost son, where Jesus gives the parable to say, yes, go out, explore life, make mistakes, and squander your money if you must, party, do whatever you need, and when you are ready to return home, you will be received with an open heart and open arms, because my love has never faded for you. But Jesus is symbolic for the Christ consciousness of who you are. You are that Christ consciousness, meaning, and this name, the Christ name, was here long before Jesus arrived on this earth. Jesus was just the perfect symbol of that Christ consciousness. He was our teacher to help awaken us to the truth that we are already that as well. The kingdom of God is at hand. It's at hand. It's right here. It's right now. And you don't need to climb a mountaintop or travel to India or read 100 books or do this or do that or do all these good things in the world so that you can be saved. No, the kingdom of God is at hand. You are that which you have always been seeking. So not only are you loved, you are love. There's nothing left. When you empty out the mind, the thoughts, the beliefs, the feelings, past experiences, past memories, just completely empty out all those thoughts and ideas of who you have thought yourself to be. When you empty everything out, the only thing left is love. The only thing left is you, and peace and joy and God, or whatever your go-to is. If there is anything whatsoever that you are holding on to right now, any fears, any beliefs that would have you think that you are less than perfect and whole right now in this moment, I invite you to let those go. You literally are everything that you have been looking for. It just takes the choice to let go of all those things that block you from recognizing that truth. And just coming back to being a conscious witness of the breath. And like life, there's no trying or effort or doing required in this meditation. Of course, there's doing required, not trying or effort, though, in life. Because the only trying and effort in life is when we believe life is not giving us what our mind says it should be and what we want, what our attachments and desires are. And by the way, I invite you to let go of every single desire and attachment, because it truly is the source of all stress. That's you, your small self, wanting life to be different than what it is, because your mind says this is exactly what we need to be happy, but it's all outside of herself. It's all external. That's why the mind will never ever be able to find happiness, true joy, because it is always looking and only understands the external world. So when we are flowing with life, there literally is no trying or effort, because we are not resisting life, and we don't need life to be any different than what it is. So right now, I just invite you just to surrender into life itself, which is you. Just surrendering into your true self. Surrendering into God, which you are intimately and perfectly aligned with. And surrendering into love, into peace, and into joy, because you are that. So just coming back to being consciously aware of your breath. And as I was saying earlier, to come back to the present moment, which is what consciously being aware of your breath does, because you're not in your mind judging it, you're just witnessing it. As soon as you judge it, if you were to judge your breath, it would immediately put you in your head. That's why we're witnessing all of it, because this has nothing to do with the head, only the heart. So being consciously aware of your breath brings you to the present moment and brings you back home to who you are. The one who is consciously aware of the breath, consciously aware of your thoughts, witnessing your feelings, observing your body. You are witnessing, observing, just being aware of life. And the more you practice that in the meditation, the more you will experience it when you're walking around with your eyes open as well. You will notice your mind says, "Oh, I'm so angry." Can you simply be a witness to that thought? "I want so bad to be awakened." Can you simply witness and be consciously aware of that thought? And you don't need to change the thought or get rid of it or correct it, because it's not real. It's not who you are. You are not the one doing that thinking. Yes, the mind serves purposes in different ways, but not the way we've used it. The mind is our servant, not our master. And again, just being consciously aware of your breath. As you do that, the thoughts will come in for sure, and it's okay. You don't need to try to still the mind. You don't need to try to have a good meditation. Good is all subjective, and all comes from the mind anyhow. All you're doing is simply, when a thought comes in, you notice it. You simply allow it to gently pass on by, and you come back to being consciously aware of your breath. And if your mind has drifted, just coming back to the present moment, coming back to being consciously aware of your breath. And again, coming back to the present moment, coming back to the breath. And if there is anything that you are holding on to right now, any thoughts that say, I'm not sure I should let that go, I invite you to let that go, or at least suspend it and set it to the side for this meditation, and you can pick it up afterwards. If there's any fear of anything you're to let go of, any beliefs that are getting in your way, I invite you just to empty all of that out, or again, just suspend it and set it to the side for this meditation, so that you can experience the perfect emptiness and truth of who you are. Loving, conscious awareness. again, just coming back to being aware of the breath. And you may have the thought, what is it that's still there from blocking me from recognizing who I truly am? That too is a thought, and I invite you to let that go as well. And that is sometimes a play of the ego to protect itself, that it's afraid it will fall into the nothingness. So just, if you have a thought that I'm not fully there, something else is blocking me, I invite you just to release that and let that go as well. And again, coming back to being aware of the breath. And if there's anything you're trying to get rid of, just simply notice that. Don't make it bad or wrong. It's just a thought. You don't need to fight that thought. Just simply notice it. It's okay. If the mind is saying that, it's okay. It's just a thought. I really need to get rid of this. What's blocking me? These are all thoughts. Just allow them to pass on by and come back to being consciously aware of the breath. And we're going to begin to bring this meditation to a completion. So if you'd like to continue meditating, please mute or turn the device off. And thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And for those of you who are ready to finish, just taking in a nice deep breath. Making sure you're rooted and grounded in this physical body that supports you. And excuse me, and just stretching your body, getting the circulation flowing back in it. And taking your time and opening your eyes whenever you're ready. So I'm going to just check out Facebook and YouTube here, but while I'm doing that, thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. I'm grateful to have you here. And Michelle, I see you here. Thank you for joining. Thank you, my friend. And I'm going to check YouTube out also. But while I'm doing this, yeah, I've been having, yesterday I had a problem with my streaming device. Thank you, my friend. And so I couldn't get on because of that, and today I had a problem getting on because of my computer. So I'm just kind of reflecting on that. I find when those things happen, it's a chance for me to kind of check within and see if there's something that needs to be changed, if I'm supposed to be doing meditations still. I was able to get on. It was a little bit late, so I feel like I'm still supposed to be doing them, but I think what I'm going to do is not do the music at the beginning anymore. So I'm just giving you a heads up so that thanks for liking the meditation there too, Sandy. Thank you on YouTube. And says, training my mind to continue the emptying. Yes. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much for joining. So any case, yeah, I think I'm going to not do the music, but if you guys feel differently than that, let me know. Otherwise, I think that's what I'm going to do, but I'm definitely open for feedback. Okay? All right. Love you guys. Have a great day, and I will, tomorrow, there's no tomorrow morning, but there's Zoom tomorrow if anybody wants to join, and Facebook as well, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Okay? If not, I'll see you Thursday morning maybe. Okay? Namaste. All right. Bye-bye.